Okay, good morning. This is Joey T. I'm in the trunk of Patrick's car. I'm coiled like a rattlesnake, ready to fire out at him as soon as that trunk opens. Hear it?
Victory is ours.
Beautiful. What if I told you that 10 successful grown men who didn't exactly want to grow up formed an unbreakable bond with each other by playing a child's game for more than 4 decades? Would you believe it? With 3 little words, they captured America's imagination and did Gonzaga Prep proud. Tag, you're it. There's the trunk tag, the funeral tag, the zag tag, the little old lady tag, the panhandler tag. They happen in parking garages, at job interviews, births, and funerals, and only in the wacky month of February.
It's like it just starts immediately, and it's just a sprint.
I would let my dog out and let him check out the front yard to make sure nobody was out there.
There's even a legal document binding it all together, and it all hatched in the hallowed halls of Gonzaga Prep. But the Tag Brothers story started way before high school in Catholic parochial schools across Spokane. Sean Raftis and Mark Mangert, they went to St. Francis of Assisi. Brian Dennehy and Pat Schulteis attended Assumption. Bill Akers and Rick Brie met at St. Charles. And Joe Tomberry and Joey Cafaro got their start at St. Al's. Some of them worked for Knights of Columbus, running the chain gang for the Parochial Football League. Joe Tomberry, now a math and science teacher at G Prep, remembers, we were always playing sports. We played a lot of wiffle ball. No matter what, we were always playing some kind of game, competing. The Tag Brothers started as a competition between 9 juniors and 1 senior during a free class period, then morphed into a way for 10 friends to stay connected as grown-up life came at them. Brian Dennehy, a partner with Bain & Company, remembers it this way.
We weren't jocks. We weren't the smart guys. We weren't the dumb guys. Not really. We were probably the refugees from all the other cliques. They didn't accept us. So
you found each other.
We made our own gang.
Mayhem, I think, is the appropriate term for it, recalls Mark Mangert, owner of Crescent Machine Works in Spokane. I don't remember exactly how tag started, but I do remember it became very competitive very quickly.
Just chaos for 5 minutes. You know, you could just chase people all through the halls. There was people knocked down. There was mayhem. It was fun.
Although memories are fuzzy, at some point during the 1981-82 school year, when 9 of the Tag Brothers were juniors, and Patrick Schulteis, now managing partner of a Seattle law firm, was a senior, the game commenced. Some think it took place during the morning break. Others recall it between 5th and 6th period. But with a bell at the beginning of the break and another at the end, a perfect daily game session already existed. Chris Amon, chief operating officer of a financial services firm in Seattle, remembers how silly it was. It was all over the school grounds, running through the halls, bursting through doors. We got dirty looks, but for the people who knew us, it wasn't much of a surprise that we were playing tag. I remember one time we were running really fast and I stepped into the oncoming traffic and ran over this sophomore girl, says Bill Akers, an executive vice president for Primera Blue Cross. I found her later to say I'm sorry, and I'll always remember her asking, "Why did you keep running?" I didn't want to get tagged, I told her. You guys are so immature. Once the final bell rang, tag was over until the next day. Until there was no next day, tag reached its inevitable conclusion on the last day of school. Joe Tomberry was it, and he had no intention of going through an entire summer wearing that badge of shame. I thought we'd play tag again. Why wouldn't we? Akers disagreed. We thought it was perfect that Tomberry was it. We never played tag senior year. Why would we? We won. After senior year, the 9 Tag Brothers went off to college, just as Schulteis had done the year before. New friends, cramped apartments, degrees to earn. Although 8 of the 10 brothers live in Washington State today, back then they were spread all over the West Coast and even out to Boston. In December of 1989, a few of them gathered at the Duchess Tavern in Seattle during a buddies weekend. When we get together, we always act like we're 15 years old again, says Akers. Chris Amon agreed. If we don't see each other for 6 months or a year, it doesn't matter. We just start up where we left off. Joe brought it up. Maybe we should keep trying to play tag. Mike Kineski, a tech consultant, recalled. We penciled it out right there. By the end of the night, we were pretty serious about it. There would need to be rules. Tag can't go on all year, so February is tag month. And as in high school, there would be no tag backs. If you're it, you have to tag one of the other 8 brothers. Finally, you've got to be honest. If a brother asks you if you're it, you have to confess. They decided to call Schulteis, who was just starting as a lawyer in the Bay Area, and thus was born the TPA, the Tag Participation Agreement. I can write a contract. That's what I do for a living. I typed it out myself because I was brand new on the job, and I knew I shouldn't use law firm resources. This was pre-email, so I printed out copies, dropped them in the mail to each of the guys with an envelope to mail it back. I even paid postage. I got them all back before February 1st, 1990. It was game on. Dennehy summed it up well. During February, the game definitely brings out the worst in everybody. I carry costumes in my car, Chris Ahmed admits. Wigs, extra clothes. I've changed in my office, gone down the freight elevator to avoid being tagged. Even though most of the guys kept the game to themselves, family members, coworkers, they started to figure it out. Especially during the month of February when it became kind of obvious. It's not just my wife, my whole family has thrown me under the bus, admitted Akers. Dennehy agreed. There's a lot of betrayal, a lot of calling people's wives, their children, even people we work with. All of them have been directly involved in tag. Tombury loves how much the families have added to tag. The game is so much better now with all the wives and kids participating. It's exploded, and it's strengthened relationships between the families and the kids, kind of like their cousins, but not related by blood, but related by tag. After the story hit the stands on January 28th, 2013, the calls came quick. Book tie-ins, movie pitches, Australian TV producers wanting interviews. At one point, among the 10 tag brothers, they were fielding 60 calls a day. Just after the story came out, Kineski and Tombury went over to Montana to tag Father Sean Raftis, a priest who serves in the Diocese of Helena. It was pretty funny. The choir saw us coming and all kind of smiled knowingly at us. Raftis didn't even see us. Even the congregation was chuckling at that point. Father Raftis remembers it fondly. I could tell something was going on, and then there they are, Joe and Mike, sitting in the front row. Everybody kind of laughed, Kineski recalled, and then he wove the story of tag into his homily. Father Raftis still remembers that homily. Our whole faith is founded on friendship with Christ, he told his congregation. Friendship is holy. We all have a yearning for the permanent, for the eternal. With the friends who stick with you, you have that fidelity, that faithfulness. I got tagged right after that.
So is anything off limits? Anywhere off limits?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I got tagged at my dad's funeral.
At your dad's funeral?
At my dad's funeral. I was in the front row, and so guys were going up to communion, patted me on the shoulder, and Beef comes up and patted me on the shoulder and mouthed to me, "You're it." And I kind of looked at him, I said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "Mm-hmm, you're it." And so I was it at my dad's funeral, which was fitting. My dad would have thought it was funny.
Meanwhile, down in Los Angeles, screenwriter and producer Mark Stylem was having his morning coffee when the phone rang. Spokane was calling. We had a number of options who to go with, Bill Akers shared, but we decided that if anybody could tell our story, it would be Mark. Soon, they did things few groups of friends ever even contemplate. They formed an LLC, signed away the rights to their life stories, hired an entertainment attorney, and even retained the services of a Hollywood talent agency. They got a payment up front and promptly donated a sizable portion of it directly to Gonzaga Prep, the place that connected them nearly 40 years earlier. The Tag brothers were thrilled by how many great actors joined the cast, including blockbuster stars like Jeremy Renner, John Hamm, Ed Helms.
I saw, some home videos that they would do, and it's like, wow, I like these guys.
It's a positive story about men. It's unapologetic in its kind of good-heartedness, but the core of it and what resonates with people is the bond. You can see it.
In the final stages of filming and production, the distributor of Tag, Warner Brothers, invited some of the Tag brothers down to Atlanta, where final scenes were being shot.
They're making a movie about Tag.
To see 400 people hanging around, actors, electricians, all wearing Tag gear. There were even Tag vans. It was all pretty surreal. Mark Mangert thinks he knows. It caught people's attention because of the fact that it's adults playing a kid's game, which is, let's just say strange. Mike Kineski took it one step further. The first thing you need to know about Tag is it's not really about Tag. It's all about the friendship, said Rick Bruyere, a sports rec coordinator in Auburn, Washington. Father Raftis thinks their camaraderie is something we all crave. When our story went around the world, it was because of the strong message about friendship. This is a story about Americana in a way, being able to grow up together, stay together. It's that golden thread of friendship that appeals to the best in us. And now those friends, Bill Akers, Chris Ahmed, Rick Bruyere, Joey Cafaro, Brian Dennehy, Mike Kineski, Mark Mangert, Sean Raftis, Patrick Schultheis and Joe Tomberry, the Tag brothers, are members of the Gonzaga Prep Hall of Fame.
I'm pretty proud of the fact that I still keep in touch with 10 really good guys. And if that's not the definition of maturity and loyalty, I'm not sure what is.
Maybe Peter Pan was right. Maybe we don't have to grow up. Not completely, anyway. Thank you all for showing us that silliness matters, that the power of humor isn't to be underestimated, but rather celebrated as a powerful way to cope throughout life. Each of you is a role model for staying connected with those in our lives who matter most, inspiring people around the world to call up a friend and reconnect. The old G-Prep priests and the many teachers and staff who carried out their mission for so many years, they'd all be proud of Father Raftis and his Tag brothers. Remember, even the founders of the Jesuit order started out as friends at school together. To the Tag brothers, you embody the spirit of Gonzaga Prep, unity, joy, and lifelong commitment. As a proud member of the class of 1983, and on behalf of the entire prep community, I welcome you to the Gonzaga Prep Hall of Fame. And it's not just for the game of tag that you've been playing, it's for the brotherhood you've shown the world. Congratulations. Enjoy it. But remember, February is coming.